when does your art stop being just yours? Is a really cool topic, an interesting topic for discussion that was asked on the last episode of Clubhouse that me and Tyler did at the end of the end of last year, 2023. We did a little reunion at the end of the year. I found that a super interesting topic, for discussion because it's a really good question that if you put something out into the world, what do you owe it to the people that consume that to leave it there? Even if you feel that it doesn't represent you anymore, even if you feel that you've changed or you don't hold that view anymore, should you take it back? Should you change it? Should you alter it? What should you do? What do you owe the world now that it's gone? And I do think generally when you release something that's not yours anymore, that is the people's thing. It's for them to find something in it that they latch onto, that resonates with them. Which I think is why I take so much issue with the way that George Lucas handled the Star Wars films. When you release those films and people love them, and they find themselves in them, and they hold them dear, that's their piece of art now. And for you to alter that and change that and redo that and recall the old ones, and now you can't even really find the original versions of Star Wars without all of the George Lucas alterations, at least not officially, I do generally think that's wrong. I do genuinely believe, once you release something, that art is no longer yours, it is someone else's. And also, there's this quote, and I said this on Clubhouse, and it stuck with me, and I still don't know who the fuck said it. The art is not the thing that you make, it's the process of making it. The art is the feeling that you find when you create the thing, not the finished product that you're putting out, which I think was really meaningful. But I do think in terms of what do you owe it to people to leave it the same, I mean, it's a really interesting and difficult thing to navigate because there's different tiers or different levels of what you should or shouldn't feel bad about changing or right about changing or how you should navigate that with something you've made. For me, at least, and I tend to leave everything unless I believe it's in some way contributing negatively in some way, right? And I'll give you two examples for me personally of stuff that I've removed and the reasons that I've done it. First off is morally, right? In 2016, 2017, 2018, I held some pretty strong and harmful beliefs that I talked about publicly. And I do not believe those anymore. I don't feel that way at all. And a lot of people have said, and this is absolutely untrue, is, oh, you've deleted this or you've deleted that because you're trying to hide it. Not true. Absolutely not true. I regularly confront the person I used to be, and that's something I'll always live with. And I don't try to hide that. The reason I delete things that were harmful that I said, politically or socially or whatever it might be, or jokes that I made that I thought were super funny that actually were not funny and were unkind. The reason I delete those is because they're harmful and I don't want them out there. I don't want somebody that likes my stuff now to stumble across something I said years ago and for it to hurt them, because that's not good and I don't like that. I was a particular way 5 years ago, 6 years ago, where I was a deeply insecure person, and I projected that onto everyone else. And I said some things that I shouldn't have said, and I fell down a right-wing rabbit hole of just vitriol and just a load of ridiculous shit. And that to me, I regret that for sure. I'm never going to hide it and pretend that didn't happen, because it did. And I spend so much time trying to be better because of it. And the reason I delete those things, and the reason why I wiped a bunch of my tweets, I deleted all of my tweets last year from around, I think it must have been from 2015 or 2016 to 2020. I think I got rid of all of my tweets from that period because I was like, I just kept finding old ones where I said things and they just made me go, oh God, why would you say that? Why would you say that? And so I was like, I'm just going to get rid of them because I don't want anyone else to stumble across those and believe that's what I still feel, or for it to just, mainly I didn't want it to upset anyone. I didn't want someone to read that and for them to feel bad because I said something that was really not nice. And I do that with videos too. Like if I find an old video where I'm like, I'm preaching some bullshit right-wing political rhetoric. It's just fucking regurgitating Ben Shapiro or Steven Crowder or whatever it might be, and I don't believe that, which I don't. then I remove it because I'm like, nope, that doesn't need to be there anymore because I just don't want it to, I don't want to put more, I don't want for me to have put more hate into the world. So I would like to bring that back if I can and get rid of it because, and that's the reason. Not for me, it's for other people. And obviously, you know, people aren't going to believe me on that. If you hate me, you're going to think that I'm just doing it for selfish reasons, blah, 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 whatever. I don't really give a shit what you think. But that's really one of the reasons why I think altering or changing or removing art would be reasonable. The other reason, and this is something that I did over the course of last year, and I think, no, it might have been the year before. I don't remember. It was over the last couple years. I deleted them. Was my Assassin's Creed Quick Lore series. And the reason I did that is because it was all copied from the fucking Assassin's Creed wiki. It was simply plagiarism. And I didn't know that at the time. Well, no, I did. Like, I knew what I was doing. But in my head, I didn't think to myself, oh, everyone's going to think, like, oh, I've researched all of this and I've put it together myself. The way I saw it was, oh, I'm just relaying facts that have been collated by someone else. It's a weird thought process now. Like, I'm trying to justify it and it doesn't make sense in my head because the way I work now is not the way I used to work when I made those videos. But it is what I used to do. I used to go onto the wiki and I'd be like, oh, this is all the factual information. These are all the facts about the game. I'll turn them into a video. There you go, done. Now people have the facts about this topic and I've relayed it using my editing, but it's someone else's research. I mean, it probably would have been fine if I'd have just said, oh, this comes from the Assassin's Creed wiki, but I didn't see it like that. I didn't see it as like, oh, nobody needs credit because this is just facts. I didn't see a wiki as, oh, someone has sat down and written this. For some reason, I don't know why. And so I removed all of those recently because realizing that it was not cool to have done that. I just decided to get rid of them because I don't think that's good to still have there and be taking away from, you know, actual work that people have done. So I decided to get rid of that too. And those are the only two reasons why I would do that, because I never tend to remove my videos if I have a different opinion. Like my old Assassin's Creed rankings, I still have all those up and stuff, I think, generally. Maybe I've taken some of them down, but I don't think it's really for my opinion. It's more for, it's just a bit of cringe content, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have. I'm not sure. It depends. But I don't see those as art. You know what I mean? Like, I'm never going to remove one of my big scripted videos because that took me a while to make, like a while to collect my thoughts and to put it together. And even if I don't believe it anymore, I don't feel the same way, I'm always going to leave that there. But some of the stuff where I'm just sitting there for like 30 minutes, just flick on the mic, just go, I think that AC3 is the worst, I think Unity's next, Syndicate, and then I talk about the Odyssey, I don't know, whatever fucking order I did them in. That's not art, so I'm like, well, that can be recalled because it's bullshit, and it's just drivel. But generally, I keep most of my stuff up because I like people to see the general transition that I made in terms of the content that I made, the way that I use my brain, the way that I create my videos and my scripts, the opinions that I hold, and the person that I was in general. As long as it wasn't deeply harmful stuff, like, you know, then I tend to just leave it up. But I do think that generally speaking, it makes sense to keep art available for people, generally, because once you release a thing, it's not yours anymore. It's theirs. And so I think that makes a lot of sense. I don't know. I just thought it was an interesting thing to talk about. Thank you for listening to the commentary. Hopefully I'll do something else soon. Who knows? Maybe it'll be another 5 months. See you later, everyone. Bye-bye.